All right, thumbnail, title, you guys know why we're here. Let's just talk about it. So, big, huge update in Pokemon Unite. Of course, we have Dragonite now in the game, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. So, as a Dragonite fan myself, I am just very happy that it's in the game. So that's really cool. And then we had a bunch of huge changes in the balance update as well, just some random changes. So that's pretty darn cool. And yeah, so let's go ahead and then without further ado hop on in. But a couple things just to, you know, disclaimer out front. I'm just gonna say here and now, this is my personal opinion. This is completely based on my experience playing the game in mostly a solo queue, at most trio queue environment, and not super high level play, blah, 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 blah. Just, you know, getting that out of the way. So let's just start off with the new guy. Let's start off with Dragonite, and I'm putting it immediately in A tier. I think it's very good. I think it has one of the most fun play styles in the game. And am I a little bit biased because, you know, I just really enjoyed the Pokemon and it's my favorite Pokemon of all time? Probably, but I genuinely do think it is really good. I think Outrage and Hyper Beam are both very good builds. I think Dragon Dance is incredible. I love the mechanic of being able to stack it multiple times. And yeah, everything in this kit is really good except for Extreme Speed. Extreme Speed is not bad. I like the stun, but it's just Dragon Dance completely outclasses it in every way with both of its other builds. So it's just kind of unfortunate. So maybe we see some tweaks to some of its kit to make Extreme Speed better, or some of its other stuff toned back a little bit. Who really knows? Its Unite move. It's really cool. It's a fun gimmick. It's the main use out of it though is being able to use Buddy Barrier as many times as you are able to use it. It just does really underwhelming damage, and it is so incredibly easy to avoid. It's just laughable how easy it is to dodge, which is why I think keeps it balanced, why I think keeps it really, really good. I think Dragonite has potential to be not necessarily like Lucario in that it can, you know, completely dominate and define the meta in the top lane, but I think it can pull off that playstyle really well. I actually have a video coming out with like an attack weight Dragonite playstyle with Hyper Beam coming out, I think tomorrow probably as I'm recording this. I'm not sure when this is going up, dude. I don't know anything, but yeah, I think Dragonite's really fun and really good. So we're gonna throw it in a solid A tier. I don't think it's broken. I think its Unite move keeps it in balance. So put it there. Its basic attacks are also really good. It's just a great Pokemon, but I don't think it's super overpowered because it's not all that squishy. Or it's not super bulky. It's pretty squishy. You know what I mean? Reverse what I said. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about someone who got a pretty big buff. Let's talk about Slowbro, dude. Slowbro has been for the longest time in like C tier for me. I think it's finally time we bump Slowbro back up to B. I think the Scald change is what I've been asking for so long. Go back and watch some of my old tier list videos. I've been saying buff Scald and Slowbro will be in a decent spot. Surf is already really solid. Telekinesis is great if you have team play, but then Amnesia, if you're playing the more solo queue play style, is really good as well, being able to keep yourself alive. So Amnesia Scald just got so much more fun. Slap some specs on Slowbro, have a little bit of fun with it. It can actually do stuff now, and that's so cool. And if you're playing with the group, Telekinesis is still great. Its Unite move is really good too. So I think Slowbro is finally in a healthy place where it's pretty damn balanced. And also, I don't know exactly what the ability changes were, but it also got a buff. So hey, Slowbro's decent. Now let's talk about someone who's not so decent right now. My poor boy Crustle. Crustle was my main for the longest time in this game. As a Pokemon I had the most games played with for quite a while. It's still in like my top like 7 or 8. Let me just go ahead and adjust this real quick. It's bugging me that some of the bottom guys are cut off just a little bit, so bear with me for like 3 seconds. Move that up just a tiny little bit, move that down. Yeah, okay, that's good. There we go. Get everyone a little bit more on screen. But yeah, Crustle, they took away its crits, man. It took away its crits, and that just did that's just such a big nerf to it. And then on top of scoring not healing you as much as it did, Crustle, I mean, it's still very annoying, and it's still the best speedster in the game as a defender. Like, it still has that going for it, but it's just damage is falling completely off a cliff. Its ability to be like a solo queue demon is just not there anymore. It's really fun still, but give it its crits back, and it'll be right back in, you know, the B tier where it belongs, like high C, mid B, like that's where it belongs. But as of right now, no crits, and how, yeah, it fell off a cliff. Okay, who do we want to talk about next? I think Serena's still S tier. The triple axle nerf barely did anything. I think it's the most broken character they've released in this game. Personally, I just think its kit is too crazy. I think the cooldown reduction is still really, really cool. But the healing is just still absurd. I've seen more Serena's solo teams than I've seen any other character solo teams, man. Like, Serena just walks in and kills 4 things and leaves. Like, it's ridiculous how good Serena is right now. So yeah, the triple axle nerf really didn't do all that much. I think it's still an incredible Pokemon. And let's just get Lucario out of the way too. It's still Lucario. Moving on. Okay, who do we got? Who do we got next? Let's talk about my boy Pikachu. I think it's time we move Pikachu up solidly into the A tier, man. I love Pikachu. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to play. You guys just saw my Pikachu video went up yesterday as I'm recording this. Oh man, I love Pikachu. It's such a fun play style. Like, I really enjoy, you know, just being able to stun people on cooldown. That's just so fun, and it's not a broken stun, unlike, you know, someone else will get to here in a few minutes here shortly. But yeah, it's just Thunderbolt's really fun. They give its Unite move, you know, a little bit more charge, so that's fun as well. Yeah, Pikachu is just great. They made it okay. Just slow down for a second. I'm, you know, jumbling all my thoughts on all my words, so just give me uno momento. So Pikachu, the buff, one of the other buffs they gave it was to Thundershock. Pikachu already had maybe the best early game in the entire game, like the best levels 1 through 5. I think Pikachu was already one of the best in the entire game, and they made Thundershock better. Bro, Pikachu was already an early game demon, and they made it better. And they make its late game a little bit better too, giving it its Unite move more often. So hey, dude, yeah. Pikachu's great. Pikachu's fantastic. I love it. Let's talk about my boy Cinderace. I love Blaze Kick. They buffed Blaze Kick. I think it's still the best ADC in the game, so leave it in S tier. I don't think much has changed for it. I think it just simply got better. Blaze Kick being able to, I believe it was always a guaranteed crit, or was it a high crit chance? I'm not really sure, but being able to maneuver better with it's just so fun. I always liked Blaze Kick more, just because why aim when you don't have to, like with Pyro Ball? But I mean, Pyro Ball is still phenomenal, obviously, but you know, giving me my Blaze Kick back is cool. So yeah, Cinderace, unbelievably good Pokemon, still just one of the best in the entire game. So we'll leave it in its S tier where it belongs. Okay, I said we were going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Gardevoir, I'm borderline putting it in S tier. I'm not ranking them within the tiers, just, you know, as a disclaimer. Like, you know, if you want to argue Lucario being here, Serena being like here or something, I don't care. It's not ranked within the tiers. So I'm gonna put Gardevoir A because of the cooldown increase to Moonblast. But people are seriously complaining that Gardevoir they're complaining about the nerf for Gardevoir after they buffed it to, you know, give it the evolution change. They didn't really buff it. They just changed the evolution. Gardevoir's kit was always this good. Gardevoir has never had a bad kit. Moonblast has always been one of the absolute best attacks in the game. They nerfed Psyshock, I believe, a little bit as well, which was also needed. But yeah, like it does so unbelievably good damage. Words hard. Why do words hard? But yeah, it was too much being able to get Psyshock early as you did, and then Moonblast being one of the absolute best attacks in the entire game. And it's still that, it's just you have to wait 1 second longer, which who cares in the grand scheme of things if you're throwing off 37 Moonblasts versus 39 Moonblasts, like, per game, like whatever it is, you know. But yeah, Moonblast is still unbelievably good. It's great. Yeah, great Unite move if you can land it. Gardevoir's fantastic, so yeah, use Gardevoir. It's great. It's fantastic. Garchomp, solid C tier. The evolution changes helped it out. It's not amazing, but it's good. It's fine. It's, you know, I think it's solidly out of the D tier for now. Give it its crits back, and we're gonna start cooking with fire if they give Dragon Build its crits back. Like, I'm just saying, pretty good. Absol, pretty balanced right now. Still super squishy, but does the best burst damage in the game if you know how to play it. Yeah, burst damage demon. Let's go with that in the solid B tier. Zard, still in B tier. It's, yeah, just perfectly balanced. That's what we use B tier for. We use it for the balance things. Okay. What do we got next? Talonflame, S tier. Fly is broken. Move on. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say for that. Fly is the strongest move in the game. I think it's the best move in the game, personally. This is such a brainless Pokemon that anyone can do well with it. And I don't think it's a healthy Pokemon for the metagame. Being as easy as it is to play and doing the absolute most damage in the game with one move, it's ridiculous, man. Nerf Fly. It's too good. In my opinion, the single best solo key Pokemon in the game. Talk about another really good solo key Pokemon. Let's go ahead and put Zeraora in A tier. You can talk me into S tier for Zera, but I don't think it's great. Obviously, okay, you know what? As of right now, with the bug, it's S tier. Just because the Spark Wild Charge bug is still a thing. just doing ungodly amounts of damage. But that build is still really solid, even like pre-bug. And Discharge, even though it got nerfed, is still really solid. It's just that consistent AoE damage, being able to spam your muscle band boosted attacks as well if you're running muscle band. So we'll leave Zero Aura S tier for now. I think if they ever fix the bug, then it'll probably, you know, be more healthy A tier. But yeah, as of right now, easy S tier. Speaking of easy S tiers, Eldegoss might be our last S tier. I'm not really sure. We'll figure that out once we get there. But it's the best support in the game, bar none. It's just unbelievable. Great healing, good damage, can carry with it as a support. So yeah, Eldegoss goes into the S tier. Okay, a Pokemon that I really want to put in S tier, but more so in an S tier ability, is Wigglytuff. I think Wigglytuff is phenomenal. I think Sing is, you know, the best non-damaging attack in the game. We called Fly the best attack in the game. Sing is the best non-damaging attack in the game. It's stupid. I've literally stopped running eject button on every Pokemon simply because I am so sick of Wigglytuff Sing. It is that good. So yeah, who needs an eject button when Wigglytuff is around? It's yeah, the Sing is broken. Sing is S plus tier. However many S's we need to establish how great Sing is, that is how great Sing is. It's the best move in the game. Best non-damaging move in the game. Anyway, yeah, it's fantastic. It's I hate playing against this so much. Venusaur. This is another Pokemon I really want to put S tier. I really do, but we'll leave it A for now. I think it's great. They just made Solar Beam good again because, I mean, they lowered its cooldown. It was already phenomenal, and just lowering its cooldown is nice. They buffed Sludge Bomb's range as well, which is cool. Not really that necessary, not really that big of a buff. I don't know if they tweaked the damage to it at all, but Sludge Bomb is always fun. It's just Giga Drain is great too. They nerfed Petal Dance a little bit, making its movement speed scale down as the attack goes on. So the longer the attack goes on, the less your movement speed buff is, but you're still having movement speed the whole time, if you get what I'm saying. It's still great. Yeah, we'll leave Venusaur there. Ninetales. I think just by, you know, power creep from everyone else, I think it's safe to put, you know, Ninetales down a tier. I think it's still really strong with Blizzard Avalanche. I think Dazzling Gleam is still a great playstyle. Dazzling Gleam Aurora is still a fun playstyle. It's not quite as good, you know, as Pikachu, Gardevoir, Venusaur after the buffs. So I think we'll, you know, just move it down by, you know, default of power creep. It's not really its fault. Nothing really changed. I just think everything else around it got better. So by default, it kind of gets worse. Mime is an easy A tier for me as well. Its confusion stun is still ridiculous. Just being able to push people into walls and stun them for like a solid, like full second is ridiculous. On such a low cooldown too, it's bruh. Something needs to be done. Like, if anything needs a cooldown nerf, it's Wigglytuff's barrier and confusion. Like, give those like an extra second cooldown, then we can, you know, be a little bit better. Or just nerf the stun, maybe. I don't know. Wigglytuff, or not Wigglytuff, Mr. Mime needs just a little tweak. I don't think it's, you know, that crazily overpowered, but it's a little bit oppressive if you ask me. Especially a good Mr. Mime is like better than everything in the game. Like, a great Mr. Mime is like up here. But, you know, just for the average Mr. Mime, I think, you know, there's fine. Cram. Oh, man. I'm putting Cram in D tier. And I should have prefaced this at the beginning, but if you made it this far, then basically how I use D tier is not that the Pokemon are bad, it's the Pokemon that are most in need of a buff. And I think Cram is one of the Pokemon that is in need of a buff the most in the game. I think it's just a little bit underwhelming. Although I did have a Cram completely just destroy me last night. It literally one-shot me twice as Zero Aura. I don't know how. It was like early game too. It just completely like full combo one-shot me. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Cram's it just needs a little bit of a tweak. It needs just maybe a little bit more damage, maybe a little bit more ability. Give it its whole do not move back. Just a little bit of love. Just a little bit of love. And we're talking about a really good Pokemon again. Speaking of really good Pokemon, let's go ahead and slap Snorlax in. I think it's still the best defender in the game, so I'll put it S tier just by virtue of that. I think it's, yeah, its playstyle is great. It's easy to use. Block is fantastic. Heavy Slam's great. And if you're an idiot, you can always run Snorlax, so that's cool. But yeah, its kid is just great. It's fantastic at staying alive. Best tank in the game. We'll put it there just by default of being the best tank in the game. Speaking of great tanks, Greedent, it's, yeah, unstoppable on cooldown. One of the best speedsters in the game as a defender. Like, why are the defenders the best speedsters in the game? Like, legitimately, you know, aside from obviously the two speedsters up here, but like, come on, defender, two fastest Pokemon in the game, and it's not even close. So, it is what it is. Mamoswine. I see a lot of like other people giving why did that happen? I see a lot of other people saying Mamoswine belongs in like A to like high A tier. I don't personally see it. That's just because I think Mamoswine has always been a little bit underwhelming in terms of how I play the game, but I think I can see the value behind getting its cooldowns earlier, or its yeah, I guess, you know, it's cooldown, getting its abilities earlier. I can see the benefit of that, just making it a lot better. But I can see the evolution changes really helping it. I've just never been a huge fan of the playstyle of Mamoswine, but I can see it. I think it's really good. Like, okay, let me rephrase. I don't think it's really good. I think it's usable. I think it still has the worst Unite move in the game, but the rest of its kit's great. Like, you don't really use Mamoswine for its Unite move. You use it to get a buddy barrier, but that's literally the only reason to ever use its Unite move, is to keep yourself alive. Yeah, its kit's great. Can freeze on cooldown. It's another reason I've been running a lot of full heal. So, you know what? There you go. That's its justification being an A tier. It made me run full heal along with Wigglytuff. All right. Next Pokemon, let's go ahead and talk about Blizzy. I think very much like Cramorant, it needs a little bit of a buff. This is not me saying Blizzy's bad. Blizzy's one of the worst Pokemon in the game. It's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think there are really any, you know, super bad Pokemon. You can definitely get to the high ranks playing anything in this tier if you're good enough. But I think Blizzy needs a little bit of love because the other supports right now just completely outclass it. You see, we have the other 3 in S to A tier, and Blizzy just does not measure up. Its abilities are too reliant on teammates, plain and simple. Like, it is a pure support in the purest form. It cannot do anything without proper, you know, help. Like, you can helping hand your entire team, but if your team doesn't press their attacks, your helping hand is useless. You can safeguard like a gigantic, you know, Unite move or whatever. I don't know. You can use use the best safeguards in the world. Doesn't matter if your teammates aren't, you know, going to take advantage of it. Soft bullet's cool. Maybe lower the cooldown so you can use soft bullet more often. That could help. I don't know. Maybe make its basic attacks better. Maybe make Egg Bomb significantly better. Maybe make Egg Bomb a little bit like soft bullet, like a hybrid. So like if it lands on a teammate, it heals, but if it lands on an enemy, it does damage, sort of like Eldegoss's Pull and Puff. Like, give it something like that. That could really help out Blizzy. I think it definitely needs a little bit of a tweak though. It's just nowhere near the other supports right now. So by default, I'll put it down here just because it needs a little bit of love. Gengar. I think Gengar is actually pretty decent right now, but I can't in good conscience put it on the same tier as anything above it right here. It's just, its kit is really not, you know, great for anything other than, you know, ganking or getting in and like, you know, just burst damage. It's just not great at anything else really. That's another just not so good Unite move. It's an okay Unite move. It's good for escapes and stuff like that, but it's good Assassinate as well. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit underwhelming, super squishy. Its damage output is okay at best. I think it, yeah, it's fine. It's just nothing special. Grin. And nothing's changed about it. It's still great. Like, I don't know. Greninja is cool. Does a lot of damage. Decent Unite move. Good mobility. Good everything. Yeah, throw it there. Machamp, solid B tier. Does a lot of damage. Has decent mobility. Good CC. Yeah, we'll put it there. Blastoise has the best CC in the game. Surf Hydro Pump, it's fantastic. Just completely bullies lanes. Does a lot of damage as a defender. I think it's really solid. You can even talk me into putting it up here, but I think, you know, just these 2 defenders can like outclass it just a little bit. So we'll move it down a little just by default. Sylveon, much like Ninetales, I think it suffered a little bit just simply from Pikachu, Gardevoir, and Venusaur being so good right now. I think Sylveon is still on that tier just because Hyper Voice, excuse me, is still really, really good. So we'll throw it up there. Still an underwhelming Unite move. Calm Mind is still fantastic though, so we'll throw it up in the A tier. And then Decidueye, it's borderline down here, let me tell you. But just because Razor Leaf, simply only because of Razor Leaf, will give it the respect it deserves and leave it in B tier. I don't think it's all that good. I think it's like Absol levels Glass Cannon in terms of bulkiness, in terms of being able to not die to literally everything in the game. But Razor Leaf is really good. Shadow Snake's cool. Its Unite move sucks. It looks so cool when it first came out, but its Unite move is like just not good. It's only good if you die before Zapdos and are able to make it back with your Unite move and then shoot it into the pit, like as the other team was saying. That is the only time its Unite move is good, like genuinely. So that's what we got. Yell at me for how bad my takes are, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.